Good morning, Henson, President and Founder of AgileDad, and it's time for today's episode of the Daily Stand Up. So, without any further ado, let's get started. Today, I wanted to talk to you about, it's the holiday season. There's lots of people who are hanging up Christmas lights and decorations and good stuff. So, I wanted to spend some time talking about safety. No, not like climbing on a ladder safety. I'm talking about like fire prevention versus fire alarm, right? And I think that too many times we see agile teams and organizations in firefighting mode. So my question is, what gift can you give to your teams to help them be in a place where they're doing fire prevention instead of firefighting? Because I think all too often we see teams that are in this constant firefighting mode, and then we ask them after the fact, why did they build things that didn't provide value when in fact all they did was spend time fighting fires? And the truth is, not only do teams not like just fighting fires, they want to work on the stuff that's innovative. They want to work on the stuff that's exciting. And I think that sometimes those things that are innovative and exciting could also be preventing future fires from happening in your organization. So the question is, how do we get to the point where we can validate that working on things doing fire prevention makes sense? And the answer is, it's the same as having a smoke detector in your home. It's just really quite simple. It's common sense. Many organizations actually carve out a sprint each quarter if necessary, that's fully dedicated to enhancements of architecture, towards innovation, towards things along those lines so that the teams can, much like a technical debt sprint, so that the teams can gain their footing so that they're not constantly working on putting out fires. Speaking of which, a technical debt sprint is not a bad idea either. Once a quarter, your team should be focused on debt, and they should have 8 to 10 items identified that they want to work on, and they should be diving in and taking care of those items just like they would a typical sprint. So this isn't really a challenge about whether they should be firefighting or fire prevention. The answer is, if you do fire prevention, you'll never wind up firefighting. So safety is a big deal. Psychological safety is a big deal. Fire prevention is a big deal. But in order for you to have these things, you need to show that it provides value. And here's the trick. Many organizations fall into the realm of, if my team is doing fire prevention, that's not providing value, right? Because they could be working on features that provide value that people pay money for. But what they don't realize is that they'll lose those customers long term if the product or service is unstable and doesn't provide value. What's going to happen is they'll spend all their time then firefighting instead of doing the fire prevention, which would have made for a more solid product that would have provided greater value. So the argument is, and I get it, leadership and executives and other folks, stakeholders, sometimes don't see the value in what you are. They're looking at, that only took you a few minutes to do, or that was only something that was very simple, or that didn't provide much value. It's almost like when people buy a service from me, a coaching service. They say, wow, that price is expensive. And then I asked them, I said, well, you don't realize you're not just paying for the 2 hours of my time or the 4 hours of my time that you need, or the 20 hours of my time that you need. You're paying for the 20 years of experience that it took me to learn the things so that I could teach you those things in 20 minutes. And I think that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, right? And I think that if we can do the ounce of prevention, and we can get to the point where we're allocating times to the team and showing that that has value, even though it might be minuscule value up front, it's going to provide great long-term value in the end. So my gift to you this holiday season is the gift of the importance of preventing fires instead of firefighting all the time. This is going to make your team's morale improve. It's going to make you deliver things better, and it's going to increase the value and quality of what you do. If you have a topic or something you'd like to talk about, make sure you hit us up at learnmore@agiledad.com. We'd love to hear your stories and your topics. As always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.